What's going on, guys? It's Batman Plant. We are here at Nican, and I got a special guest with me, Easy Trim Harvesting. They are a big component in getting your buds nice and trimmed and ready to go. Whether you're a dispensary or a small-time grower, they got options for everybody. Welcome, and how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about Easy Trim Harvesting, how you guys got started, and a little bit about the background.
Sure. So I started Easy Trim 13 years ago now. And, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So I had to grow and was sitting there trimming week after week and just couldn't stand it anymore. So I knew about some, commercial trimmers on the market at the time, and I just didn't want to put my product through it. So I decided I was going to build something for myself and my buddies, and this is in 2009. And I did, and we trimmed our harvest in a day or two. What normally took us a couple of weeks, and kind of one thing led to another. The industry's kind of formed over the coming years, and I continued to develop and improve. Our initial flagship product, which is our satellite trimmer, and then developed a bunch of other harvesting equipment and SOPs that really help to streamline the harvesting process and automate the process without sacrificing quality. Because as a grower, and all of my employees are growers, we really care about bud quality. It's really important to us. Production's important to us too. Efficiency is really important to us too. But more importantly is making sure that we maintain that quality and that the medicine that's produced is of high quality and a high standard. And so that's really been the focus over the last 13 years is developing equipment that we don't sell bells and whistles, right? Our equipment is practical, it's simple, it's functional, it's efficient, and it's cost effective, right? Like those are the things that we really focus on, and that kind of separates us from any of the competitors out there. Is that it's not about bells and whistles for us, man. It's we're growers, we know what we need, and we want to keep our equipment as simple and as cost effective and as effective as possible.
Yeah, I think when you talk about problem solving, which it sounds like you're just trying to solve a problem for you and your friends, how that one thing led to another, it's kind of how some of the greatest brands and companies really get their start, by solving a problem. And I think when you save time, you're saving people energy. If you're dealing with a person that uses his medicine, maybe they have arthritis, there's a lot of different options that can save them fatigue while they're working with their buds. And I think we all, as a grower myself, we all love that perfect manicure look. It adds to it. You don't want to spend your whole growing fire, and then your bud just kind of looks crappy at the end when it's presented.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you talk about simplicity of your products, why is simplicity so important for you and your customers?
Well, I think it's primarily because it creates a simple process too for our customers. But the more moving parts you have incorporated, the more apt things are to break. There's more replacement parts and that sort of things in terms of the design of the products, and it's about cost too, right? It's about how can we build the most functional equipment at the lowest cost and pass those savings on to our clients, right? But also that get the job done as efficiently as possible, without adding all the bells and whistles. Like I said, they're not necessary to me, and it's waste, and I don't like waste.
Yeah. Now talk a little bit about the different designs. You have handheld, you have full conveyor belts where, a whole lab would use.
Yeah, so we primarily have focused on the post-harvesting side of things, although we have some other products that tie into the grow side as well, but primarily it's the post-harvesting. What the main equipment is what we kind of call our trifecta, which is our commercial trimmer, our buckers, and our sorters, right? And those three pieces kind of go hand in hand to us in really optimizing and creating an efficient process during the harvesting process and post-harvesting process. And they all they're all kind of equally needed, right? If you have an automated trimmer, well, now potentially bucking can be a bottleneck. And if you don't have an ability to sort, then touching up and packaging can be an issue. So yeah, we have different size trimmers, we have different size buckers, and we have different size sorters. So we have our commercial trimmer, which is our flagship product, which is the Satellite. We've had it out since 2010. Is our larger trimmer. It does wet and dry. It does about 30 pounds an hour of dry product, or when you're trimming dry. It has the capability, like I said, to trim both wet and dry. What really separates our large trimmer and the Satellite trimmer from kind of the other tunnel style trimmers that are on the market is primarily control, right? We want to be able to control the dynamics of trimming so that we can change the way it trims for different strains, sizes, densities. I don't want to trim larvae product the same as I would trim dense or wet versus dry. And you know, strains are so versatile, and even the same strain can differ from one cycle to the next. And so we really want to be able to control that and make our cycle time or our trim cycle time as short as possible to ensure that we don't damage the product, right? Or do as minimal agitation to the flower as possible. And so with the Satellite, one of its key features is that it's going to maintain the integrity and the structure of the flower as it appeared when it was growing. So if it's really, got a lot of foxtails, for example, I've trimmed things that look like my hand and fingers,
I
right?
definitely know.
And we're going to maintain that integrity because we're trimming about 300 plus grams every minute. And yes, it's a batch style trimmer, but that's a selling point to us and not something that we think takes away from the process. We want it to be a batch style trimmer because we want to be able to control every single batch, because every batch is different and every strain is different. So we want to make sure that it's only in the machine as long as it needs and not a second more. And so in addition to that, controlling the dynamics of the way it trims, it uses airflow predominantly to move the product, to control the agitation. And we want to be able to control the amount of airflow and the amount of rotation and all of these various aspects that go into trimming so that we can really minimize the time that it's spent in there. I think the other thing that kind of separates our trimmer from some of these other commercial trimmers is our filtration and our trim collection. So the Satellite has 4 collection bags that mount to the bottom of the trimmer that not only filter your trim as it's trimming, but it separates, your chlorophyll-based leaf from your sweet leaf or sugar leaf, and then your keef as well. And so they're basically bubble bags, right, that go on the bottom of the trimmer, but it's doing it dry, right? It's like a dry sifter that is doing it while it's trimming. So it's not another process that you have to do, and it's just great for a lot of our clients that sell the keef that it separates on its own, or use it for caviar or various other things, or just to be able to really control that extraction side of the process and having different grades. It's just another option that this machine gives. In addition, it's quiet, it's lightweight, and it's cost effective. So really, there's no other machine out there that will give you the quality, number one, and throughput for the cost, right? So if you look at throughput, which is 30 pounds an hour, for the cost, there's nothing that comes close. And we always are willing to put our money where our mouth is, and we love to engage with our clients. We love to be on site. That's why all of our products have a money-back guarantee, because we know they work. And we've been in the trenches trimming and harvesting for 13 years. So not only do we have really significant SOPs, but we really like to get our hands dirty or sticky, as it were. So that's our big trimmer. And then we have some handheld trimmers. We have our new trim pen, which we launched this year, which is really meant to replace scissors and act as if it is scissors without the pain, right? Without the arthritis and having to squeeze it. For me to describe it here is a little bit difficult, so you just have to go to easytrim.com and check it out there. But it's a handheld trimmer. Some of the recent feedback on the trim pen is it's increased production 4 times. So in the touch-up process or just the trimming process alone, it's increased the speed by 4 times.
Wow.
Whether it does or doesn't, you're at least going to get the arthritis aspect and the control there. So it's a really cool product. We're really excited about it. And then we have our wander trimmer, which is our other trimmer, which is primarily a wet trimmer. It's essentially like the Flowbee or sucking cut, right, from Wayne's World. It attaches to a wet dry vacuum, and it's meant to trim the flowers while it's on the stem, wet and fresh, and then allows you to hang them up and dry it after that. So it's also a great tool. Trims about a pound of dry weight an hour with that thing. Another thing that's kind of hard to explain, go to easytrim.com to check that out. So those are our 3 trimmers, and then we have our buckers. We've got a couple different sizes of buckers, right? Buckers are all kind of the same out there. They have holes and rollers that pull the stem through the holes. The thing that separates ours is, 1, cost, right, which is a big deal. 2, the tips that we utilize really help to pluck the bud off the stem without damaging it. They're interchangeable, they're customizable, and then we have like work surfaces and stuff on the top, as you see here, where you can kind of set the product. Other than that, most buckers are rollers and holes, right?
Yeah.
The difference is we really don't gouge you on the price. Ethics are important to us here. The ethics in business are really important. We care, right? We care about the bud, and we care about our clients, and we really try to not take advantage of them and overcharge for our equipment. And then the other piece to trimming and harvesting is our sorters and our sorting tables. We have our large sorting table, a smaller sorting table, and then we have our little shaker box. Again, check them out on the site. And people just love these things because there's no moving parts. They're indestructible. They're again customizable. But the key to sorting, right, is to separate out your shake and your popcorn from your actual buds, right? Get that shake and popcorn out of the way so you're not handling it. Because I hate when I go into a trim room and see trimmers sitting there trimming popcorn buds.
Yep.
It's never needed. Most of the time, if we do the rest of the process properly, it's not needed. And so it's just a waste of time and money. And so we get that out of the way, and it just speeds up that process. And then some folks do like to have, small, medium, and large buds, as opposed to just one size. And so there's options there. This big table that we're standing up against here can be used one end to the other and sort shake, popcorn, small, medium, or large buds, or you can do it from both ends and do shake, popcorn, and then your buds in the middle. So 2 people can be working this thing simultaneously.
Side to side, yeah.
Double production. And then the other nice thing about this big table is, it's a decent footprint, but this shelf right here, when you're not using it, moves up top and creates a work surface. And so it becomes a functional table in your grow, so it's not wasted space. So that's kind of the product line, as it were, in terms of the harvesting equipment we've developed. And we're always improving things. We're always talking to our clients and looking for any innovations or anything that we can do to improve our product line. It's really important. So we are always changing things and modifying things over the years. But I think like I said, the most important thing is, for me to go into a grow and improve somebody's process. I don't care if you're an MSO, multi-tier, or you're a smaller operation. The goal for me is to minimize handling and touch up, right? I don't care what trimmer you're using right now. I don't care if they say they do 60 pounds an hour, 100 pounds an hour. If you have to then touch up 70 to 80% of your buds after it went through a machine, you didn't trim 70 to 80 pounds an hour. You probably trimmed closer to 2 to 5 pounds an hour in the end. And so the goal for me is to really focus on the entire process. This starts in the grow from A to Z, and reduce the amount of touch-up so that you're not handling or having to QC. If I'm touching more than 20% of the buds, we're not doing it right, and we're not being as efficient as we could be. So, the SOPs we've developed over the years with the complementary equipment is how we approach this and are able to go into large-scale facilities, smaller-scale facilities, and get that down to less than 20%, that you're only touching 20% of the buds. And, again, we put our money where our mouth is, and we're more than willing to come out and show folks how we do this and how this is accomplished. And we have multiple methods that we've developed over the years, so we can really accommodate different facilities, different resources, manpower, processes that you've already have set up. We can really work around all of those things to generate that minimal handling and reduce that touch up below 20%. And that's the key. And we want to, and reducing cycle time so that we're not damaging the bud, right? We want to streamline the process without affecting quality. That's our goal. That's what we do. So.
No, that's awesome, and thanks for the information. Sometimes, we really have to pick these details out of people when we talk to them, and you're just full about it. And that's something that when you deal with companies like Easy Trim Harvesting, you're going to see the passion, the problem solving, all the things that go into this that make it a great product. This is innovation, and it's constantly evolving. Taking a table that sorts your bud, and then also thinking that you might need to work on it when you're not using it, and having that option. Whether you're using something that's going to remove the ability to use scissors, or something that's going to save you a massive amount of time. I think you talked about a lot of great things about, the way the bud looks. It should look like the way it came when it was growing on the plant. And a lot of people, I think, are afraid of some automated trimmers and gotten a bad rap because it destroys their bud, it disintegrates their bud, it doesn't do what you do. And the fact that you've been able to think of all these options and, kind of almost be a visionary of how people are actually working with your device and saying, how can I make it better? How can I make the experience better? And for somebody that's dealing with 300 pounds an hour, time is money. And if they're working in dry environments or they don't got a good cure process, they may have days or less than a week to get all that trimmed and ready and gone. And now you're going to be their problem and solution to making sure that they're always on point with whatever that they're doing with their buds.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a stigma around harvesting equipment, or certainly trimming machines. I know that. I was one of them, right? That's how Easy Trim started. Was I had the same stigma, I had the same mindset about trimming machines on my own product. So again, that's why it's so important to me to maintain that quality and our approach with our clients and that interaction and that relationship that we have.
What's the general feedback from a big facility from the first time they've ever used your machinery from traditional methods?
Yeah, and like I said, we don't sell bells and whistles. We're not this huge, heavily backed company either, right? It's grassroots.
Yep.
It's in the field. It's in the trenches, as it were. And so, to me, we're kind of, in some ways, the best kept secret. And so, I actually love it when clients have had the opportunity to use our competitors' equipment before they find us, because then they can really compare, okay, what am I getting here? Especially when there's a misperception, right? There's a misperception. When you aesthetically look at our equipment, you may say, oh, that doesn't look like it does enough for me, or that doesn't seem like it's priced high enough that it's going to get the job done, right? And so there's this misperception visually and at our price point that it's not going to be able to, really fulfill or do the job when it comes to volume and large scale facilities. Man, I've worked on 400-acre farms. I've been at all scales, right? And that is a misperception. And that's why, I like it when somebody's had the opportunity to see the other equipment, because then we can come in there and do what we do best, which is, it's not just about the equipment, right? We've built the best equipment, in my mind, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
But it's more importantly, it's the SOPs, it's the process, it's the methods and the information that we provide, that we've learned over the years. The equipment just kind of comes with it, right?
It's a byproduct.
The equipment's the byproduct
yep.
of the SOP and the knowledge that we, because, once we get everything aligned in terms of the harvesting process, and this includes on the grow side, then the equipment becomes really just an easy piece in the process. It's really about educating our clients, and the industry's come a long way, and a lot of folks have most of the pieces. But, for example, like I said, okay, this is one thing we find a lot with our clients is, I'm turning my rooms. I've got 9, 10, 20 flower rooms, right? And they turn every 9 weeks, say. And I've got my dry rooms, but oh shit, this room's not dry enough, but I got to harvest it because this next room needs to come down.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Now I got to pull this down. Now it's not going to trim well because it's not dry enough. and so there's these logistical and scheduling issues that these MSOs experience, at least from my experience and what I found, and that's where we look at all the pieces and have different approaches to utilize facilities, resources, and size and space and methods to make sure that scheduling isn't an issue and that we can check all the boxes as we go through the process.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, because at the end of the day, and from the first start of the conversation, it's problem solving. It's solving the problem and changing the world little by little and making people better.
Yep.
And that's what it's about.
I agree 100%.
Well, Joe, I've learned so much from you in just a short amount of time. I can't thank you for the wealth of knowledge. I also look hopefully to working with one of your devices and trying them out on the show. What can people do to find out more about Easy Trim Harvesting, and where should they be looking?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're online. Going to our website's the best resource. It's easytrim.com. That's letter Z, TRIM.com. We've got a lot of resources. All of our SOPs are on there as well, as videos and everything you need to know about who we are, what we are, and what our products do. But additionally, man, don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We love to talk to folks, and whether you're in the planning phase or you've been doing this for 10 years, hey, maybe you've got most of it figured out, but maybe we can provide a couple pieces or a tool to, obviously decrease that cost to produce. Just chip away at it, right? And I think we can do that. So definitely check us out at easytrim.com, and don't ever hesitate to reach out to us.
Yeah, and to touch on that last subject, right there is why, besides the machinery, you should definitely fall in love with this company and look at what they're doing. It's because of that level of communication, that level of transparency to the consumers. They want you to reach out. They want you to be proactive and ask questions, and maybe even give ideas to help create better devices to help everybody. Joe, it's been a pleasure.
No,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time at Madman Plant.
Peace.